This is Nomadic Addicts Outdoor Podcast.
Where the beer is cold
and the pistachios are hard. Let's tell our tales.
All right, we're back here again. And today we have Mr. Michael Perry all the way from down in Alabama today.
From North Alabama.
North
That's
Alabama.
right. Roll
Tide.
Tide didn't roll much this year. So.
No.
Which I've about give up on college football. It's kind of strayed away from what it should be to me. But hey,
We got room if you want to be a Syracuse fan, baby. Go Orange.
there you go. I like watching football, period, but it's not in a good place right now for me. But hey, but if the hunting season, I'm not going to pull out of the woods to go watch it. I'm going to stick in them woods.
That's right.
I like the dedication. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to go into a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into hunting, when you started.
Yeah, Michael Perry, North Alabama. Started hunting young, but mainly squirrel hunting and stuff, and a lot of public land, and then trapping. Done some stuff with my dad. Like he was a commercial fisherman for a little while. Drove boats for him when I was little, but then when I was 17, I took 5 years off in the Navy, so I didn't really get serious into hunting until after that, as far as deer hunting, and then picked that up. Started bow hunting with my brother. Didn't really kill a good deer until I was 31 years old. Then got more serious after that. Kind of start putting pieces of the puzzle together, or what I thought was pieces of the puzzle, and started doing a little bit better, and killed a real good one at 41 years old, and then I've killed a couple more real big ones since then. So, but just mainly public land hunters, and really enjoyed the trapping part. The trapping part really helped, I think, as far as my style, and actually being more observant to the sign that you're looking for, subtle sign. Well, that kind of helps. So, but I've been, I've wrote articles for some magazines for probably about 16 years till they pretty much went out of business now. So that magazine stuff is tough. So, but then a few other things, but really love whitetail is the passion. I do some out of state stuff now and get a little bit more into the deer hunting out of state. But done a few bear hunts and drove up through y'all's way quite a bit, going to Canada in New Brunswick to do some bear hunting and a moose hunt one time. So, but just enjoy all of it, but really the whitetail is what I really love. So,
Yep, absolutely.
And I got my wife. My wife is pretty good into it too. So she killed her 16th deer this year, a pretty nice 4.5-year-old 7-point on public land. So
there we go.
Boy, no kidding.
She loves it. She sticks in it hard with me. We're mainly hunt together most of the time. We try to. So I'll branch off by myself some, or meet my brother and do it. So we love the outdoors and do some other things too, fishing and such, but deer hunting is the main thing. So.
Absolutely. And it seems like the more and more of these, like the guys that are consistently killing big bucks, they always talk about the trapping thing. I don't know if
I was just about to touch on
I
that.
don't know if it's like you guys are more key into like the wind, or where just animals want to travel, or what, but.
Well, trapping, to be what you call a good trapper, to be able to do a blind set and catch something, which is meaning not using any kind of scent, no bait, anything. You're just putting a trap where you think that animal's going to put its foot. And then once you kind of learn that helps you pay attention and get more detail, with sign, how they travel, trails and stuff like that. So that kind of helps. And that was one of my favorite things, was land trapping coyotes and fox stuff, because it was harder. Raccoons and the other wet water animals was a lot easier. So I just like the bigger challenge. So, and that kind of pertains now into the bigger buck stuff. So.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, we're in our late 20s, early 30s, and when coming up as youngsters, the price of fur was still pretty good.
Yeah.
But we got up into our teens, and shit, you were spending more money in gas, to drive around and check sets, and you were making money. So, I mean, even our generation, it really fell out. And I mean, you can really see that with some of these, weekend warriors that go out and hunt, which I have no problem with. I'll never knock a weekend warrior because they want to get out there and hunt as much as they can.
Right.
But they're not trapping. They're not seeing that animal movement, right? You know, we're all animals, but how those animals really move and why they move. And even, I mean, look at how a muskrat feeds. You know, you're looking for those muskrat feeds, muskrat houses. When we're whitetail hunting, what are we looking for? Food and where they're living and where their bedding is. So it's funny how that all pieces together.
And like we, like you said, we kind of, our generation kind of zoned out of it because the prices dipped so much. But so we had to do it as a hobby, but we got to learn from people that did it for a living because they got to, they actually made money off of it, but we were just doing it out of wanting to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you kind of need to do it to help for turkey population and fawn stuff, you know, just predator control, because it's kind of got out of hand nowadays. So.
Yeah. Do you guys have bobcat down there?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to trap them or?
Oh yeah, you can trap them. You can shoot them like during gun season stuff. You can shoot as many of them as you want. There's no limit on them during gun season or hunting season. So they're boom too. You know, I know up north there's kind of some limits on some of that stuff, and some places I think they're actually protected. But down here we got plenty of bobcats, got plenty of gray fox, red fox. Coyotes is the worst, you know, because used to we didn't even have any coyotes. You know, they kind of dog hunters, fox hunters kind of brought some of them in, and then of course some of them made their way over. But you know, that's kind of funny too, because up there we all at, when we go to New Brunswick, Canada, they talk about they'd never had coyotes for a long time until they cut a pathway up there to run power lines, and so that created habitat for rabbits, which brings in coyotes. You know, they have to have food to go that way, and then now they got coyote problems. So it's kind of wild that we used to not have them like that, but now they're about everywhere. It's awful. So.
Oh, they're wicked. They are wicked, especially up north. Like I live in the snow belt of New York State, so we have, I mean, a substantial amount of snow every year. And when our migration starts and these deer start to move off of the Tug Hill, the foothill, the Adirondacks, these coyotes they're not stupid. They get into these deer yards, you know, where you might have a herd of deer that there's like 4 or 5. And then next thing you know, there's 20 deer and they're all moving in a herd to get basically to get off the hill, right? To get out of the snow. And those coyotes they'll go through the snow, and next thing you know, they're in it looks like a tractor rut with these deer that are on it. It's walking single file to get out of there. And a coyote can run a heck of a lot faster on those runways than that lead deer can breaking trail. Right. So they really do a damage to the fawn population, the buck population, because the bucks are all worn out. You know, they hardly have a stitch of fat on them.
Right.
And, you know, they're run out from chasing does. So now you get a coyote that runs up to them. The coyote's got a lot more energy than he does. And they kill a lot of deer. Yeah.
Yeah. They're coyotes. You know, deer can run fast, but they can't run fast for a long time. So they don't have the breath. And one of the worst things them Canada people tell me is whenever y'all have a snow, then it kind of warms up and it crusted over on top.
Yep.
You know, the deer are breaking through, so they can't run, but the coyotes run on top of that crusted snow like it ain't nothing. And just wear the deer out and even hurt the moose to an extent. So
yeah, even worse than that on the snow is the bobcats on the snow.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
really?
They have, you know, bobcat's foot is like these big cats up here that are, you know, north of 30 pounds. They have great big paws on them. Shoot, they're just like snowshoes, and they run across that snow. And bobcats kill a lot of deer too.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of video with proof of that. A lot of people didn't believe that, but yeah, they do it. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, they are ferocious little bastards for sure.
And then you put in our turkey population with that, combined with a hard winter, it could really do numbers on the turkey population.
Yeah, that and the fishers destroy a lot of the turkeys.
You know what? You guys got fishers down there?
No, we have mink, you know, but a fisher is like 10 times the size of a mink. So
big mink, yeah. They're one of the only predators that can climb head first down a tree with prey in its mouth. So they just go up in the roost and take these turkeys out. It's ridiculous.
So y'all turkeys don't have much of a chance if that stuff.
No. And
them fishers are meaner than hell.
Yeah, they are.
And we get some real, you know, say we get a mature tom that he's able to live through a couple winters, and he'll get a nice big paintbrush of a beard on him. Well, they freeze up here. Next thing you know, you'll have a 3-year-old bird, and he's got a 6-inch beard because they freeze off.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that sucks too.
Yeah, you can't really hunt for bears, just hunting for spurs. Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah, hunting for hooks.
Oh man, that's pretty wild. So
Yeah,
Absolutely. How did your season this year go?
so far, we're still our season don't even close till February 10th on most of the states. So I've
Holy
killed
cow.
a one in Kansas, a nice buck in Kansas with a crossbow, a good 8-point here with a rifle. Then my wife killed that one, and I've killed a doe with a crossbow. So we're having a pretty good season. So can't complain. So more than usual, really. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to hold out a little bit. My wife does too. We're kind of picky, trying to get 3.5-year-old or older bucks is what we're trying to shoot now. So
Right.
so we're doing. That's the first buck she shot in 3 years, so she's tickled to death. So.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Sweet
You
deal.
know, because so you said you did a lot of the majority of what you do is on public land. And
Oh yeah,
so-
probably all of it. I don't hardly ever do any public land hunting anymore. So very rare.
Okay. So what draws you to a piece? Like, how do you go from an entire state and bring it down into a little piece that you're going to hunt? What terrain features, or what are you looking for?
Well, the biggest thing is like we got an area that's not real far from, say, 35, 45 minutes from here that's got some genetics that was brought in from Michigan, big bucks. And the biggest one I've killed, the Muzzloader state record, was 196 inches. That potential is there. So,
Yeah.
and so we concentrate on that from October 1st till the middle of December. Then we'll just chase the rut and go to other management areas, just follow. You can chase the rut all the way through February. So this year we went to Kansas toward the last week of October and into the 12th of November, because now I'm retired. I can do that more. So me and my brother spent 2 weeks out there and had an awesome time, killed 132-inch basic 9-point with a crossbow. So seen some
That's right.
awesome bucks, and that's a cool place to hunt as far as seeing bucks. I mean,
Yeah.
way different than down here in the South. So.
Absolutely. We're headed there in March. We're headed down. Me, my girlfriend, and my daughter. We're going down for a shed hunt down there because we've been drawing points for there. So it'll give us kind of eyes on the pieces and look and scout a little bit on it.
Yeah. Me and my brother's talking about that because we were surprised we got draws, because I had 1 point. He didn't have any, but we got draws, so that was pretty neat. So we've been buying preference points for Iowa, and we'll have 3 this year. So we're thinking about just putting in for Iowa draw, and then try to do that for the archery. So we're thinking about going scouting, doing some scouting in Iowa and Kansas, and do a little shed hunting, early spring, to kind of because that helps, doing that, getting that kind of intel helps. So.
Absolutely. Did you guys apply as a party in Kansas?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And so you had 1 point, your brother didn't have any, and you guys draw?
We got drawn. They say they draw off the lowest person, but they took my point, which we didn't matter. We was glad to get draws. So, but yeah, so you can do that as a group. So that's a good thing about it. You can all go. So
Okay.
Iowa would do the same thing. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, Iowa will do the same thing. Then my wife wants to go to Wyoming. We've been buying preference points in Wyoming. We used to go there quite a bit. So she's got 6 or 7 antelope points. She wants to do antelope, and I've got 6 or 7 mule deer points. So
Yeah.
we're gonna try to do that. Plus, I've been buying elk points for, I think, got 13 elk points now. So
Oh, shit.
we're thinking about, me and my brother talking about that. We might do one of them not this coming season, but the next. Try to get one of them knocked out before we get too old. So. I
I think I have 40 points in Maine for moose, but up there it's literally the lottery. I might as well just go play scratch offs.
Yeah, that's them guys in New Brunswick the same way. I think one guy I know, he's probably 61 or something. I think he's drawn 3 times in his life. So then one time he was out of state and couldn't go. So, but that's what's that? You want to protect your animal, but that kind of makes that tough. So,
Yep.
but it's a party when they do get drawn up there. They got a 5-day season, and it's funny. They throw down when they get draws. So.
Yep. No kidding. Now it's funny, like, and you kind of touched on it, like with your guys' rut down in the South. When is your favorite time in Alabama to be, like, no matter what, all the cards are off the table, you have to be in the woods on what are your favorite, say, 6 days?
My favorite 6 days would be like from Thanksgiving to the 3rd or 4th of of December for where I hunt at. The December 2nd is the day I've killed more bucks on December 2nd and seen more chasing. So,
Yeah.
and that's in that area that I'm talking about where the big bucks is at. So it's kind of a secondary, or not really a secondary rut, because the initial rut, if you're not right there with them older does at, you'll kind of miss out on a lot of stuff. It's kind of like a lockdown. So that usually happens around the 13th of November. So you get into them 20s in November and the first week of December, they're doing more walking than the bucks are. So gives you a better chance, even though I killed that monster one early November 5th, right before the pre-rut. So, and that's the hardest time to hunt for me is early season. So, but I kind of had a history of him on trail cameras, and he was using one specific place, daylighting, like for 1 week of the year. And I kind of snuck in there, and just luckily I seen him and got to shoot him. So it's just, but as far as that, like I say, that Thanksgiving to the 4th or 5th of December is when I don't want to miss it. So.
Right. Yeah. For me, I mean, it's funny. You're like, and that's what I was kind of trying to get out of you is that one date. You said December 2nd.
December 2nd.
I'm the same way with November 14th. November 14th, I've killed a majority of my bucks on the Tug Hill.
Mine's November 7th.
November 7th. It's funny how guys just have those days where they're like, hey guys, I'm busy. I gotta be in the woods.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's another guy that a friend of mine, he does like I do. I keep everything wrote down. I got stuff transferred to a journal, dates, times, and trail camera pictures. I keep up with all that. And one of my main strategies is when I go scouting looking for like rut funnels or travel corridors, I'm put cameras out a year ahead of time and let them soak through the rut through the whole season. Then I kind of keep up with them dates when you're seeing the most amount of bigger bucks that travel through that area. But it's like you said, I'm paying the lottery or whatever. I want the best odds to kill a buck. So I want to be in an area or some kind of travel corridor where more than one big buck comes through there. Is what I'm trying to do. So
yeah, and I try to stress that too. Like we really started a journal, I think 3 years ago. We built a camp, and my father went and bought like a camp diary, a log book, a sign-in book, who comes and visits. And it's funny, like we've really started, I'll come back from a hunt and my dad will get on me, pour a glass of whiskey and sit down and write in the journal, what did you see? What was your temperatures? Where was your wind? And now with 3 years of data, and we have a couple really, really solid spots that we like to go. And we go back, and it's funny how that journal matches up within a couple days of each other.
Yeah, that's critical information. Now you got computers and all that, higher tech stuff where you can keep up with it a little bit better. But all that historical data and historical areas like you're talking about, when you find a big buck, so to me, like if you get a hard horn picture of a buck, I don't care if it's daylight, dark, or what, that buck's there for a reason, and during the time frame that you can hunt. So kind of, think about that too. So there's several key things I try to pay attention like that. So.
Now, when you were talking about the travel corridors, can you pick out a travel corridor like on a map, or are you looking at like, okay, here's food and here's what I think is bedding, and then you get in there and figure out by boot and figure out like where they're traveling through the corridor, like, or can you pick it out?
It's hard for me to pick it out on map. I can kind of get out there on maps nowadays because used to we didn't have any kind of maps like that, and you had to spend money to go get one from the Forest Service or something years ago. So we didn't have phones, so we basically get out and just walk drainages, and then where creeks and other creeks run together and just looking for tracks. Then start out with a creek crossing, then maybe tie into creek crossing where suspected bedding area, or say food plots, or where other people's hunting, or pine blowdowns, just a bunch of different things, and do a lot of boots on the ground and kind of figure out it was hit and miss. But now you kind of, with the topo stuff, see different habitat trains, hard edges, and it helps to an extent. So, but still, I have to put the boots on the ground and look, and then leave a camera soaking, and especially tying them in. Like y'all don't have a lot of bluff stuff up there, but we got some bluff stuff. Tie them in where deer got to go certain ways around bluffs or around points, hard edges, cuts, stuff like that. So it's just a variety of things. The more multiple things together is what I'm kind of looking for. And then also kind of paying attention to the big picture. how drainages or fingers or wood lines or where different like Forest Service food plot stuff is at, and kind of say take a mile and a half, 2 mile square area and kind of draw lines where things go together, then look for the centers and look for corridors that way. So
Right. Okay. Yeah. Some more big picture stuff. But
Yeah.
now you did touch on where other people are hunting. How much, because you hunt mainly public land,
Yeah.
how much stock do you put into figuring out where other people are hunting to figure out where you want to hunt, like where the spot has to be?
Right. A lot of it's pretty easy because our areas you only have a certain amount of parking spots where a lot of people pile in, or they'll be like clean roads that go back to food plots. You can't drive back there, but they got them gated. But people will park and walk back in places, so you can kind of just drive around and look at all them gates and document all the gates. Then you know people are gonna park there. Then you can kind of look in between them places and look for thick spots, and, thicker edges, and get away from them people, or where people could push them to you. So
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah.
and back to like that real big one that you shot, how many years of history did you have with them?
the year I killed him was 3 years of camera history, which I didn't know until after I killed him. I didn't pull the camera until after I killed him. So
Holy
So-
cow.
You
I'd be like,
Yeah.
holy, maybe
Yeah.
it's good you weren't in there for 3 years.
yeah, at 4.5, 5.5, he was 6.5 when I killed him. So 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. So, and he was using the same. He was using the same, basically a shelf above a creek crossing that leads toward a point like a bedding area. So, and he was using that a certain time of the year, that first week of November, daylighting for 3 years in a row, and it just in few days, like a week, and so
So
the
I
year
got two questions. One, what made you put the camera there? And two, was this the year you killed him, the biggest that he was?
Yeah, he was the biggest then. So he actually lost, the first year I had pictures of him, he carried his horns all the way into February. I had a couple pictures of him in February walking around with some other bucks, but they'd already shed. He was still toting his, but he was real skinny and kind of skin up looking. The next year he dropped a bunch of the stickers and stuff, but he still had some splits and got his body back. He might have scored 160. I actually missed him by 1 day hunting that year, and then he blew back up the year I killed him. So that was the biggest. So
And how many countable points did he have?
18. So
And so 196, that was what he scored?
196 and 3/8. That's his Buckmaster total score. So
Oh,
he ended up, he netted 188 for Boone and Crockett. So which is incredible for Alabama. So especially for public land. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's is that the Alabama state record with a muzzleloader?
state record non-typical muzzleloader. Yes. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
That's,
And is that him behind you, that full body mount?
yeah, the full body mount's him. So
you got a full body mount.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got it.
yeah, I was gonna, my goal was like if I ever kill one Pope and Young, I was going full body mount it, and I killed a 140. You can't see him; it's 21.5 inch size spread with a bow that I killed, and I was so excited because I ain't never had one that wide ever on camera. And I'd already cut his legs off, so I didn't get the full body mount him. But I said if I ever kill another one, but thank God I got to kill another one. I said as soon as I seen that sucker, I said I'm full body mounting him. So
Yeah.
What is the giant up above him too with the drop time?
that's my brother's, and it come from Public Land, Alabama, and that's part of our YouTube channel stuff. And it's 18.2. And it come off of public land farther south, so that was kind of one of the deer that kind of got us thinking different because he killed that one in 98, December 26th, 98. So he lets me keep it here because I take it to a few shows and stuff. But that was a dream buck, and it's just crazy that I actually killed 18.2. So we got that into our logo for our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's
So,
pretty neat.
Yeah, so
Like
two
public-
brothers, two brothers killing 18 points on public land is just, I mean, that's
Yeah.
some kind of a blessing, It's
Yeah,
very
down-
unique.
Down to the coffee shop, all the women are going, I think them boys got it figured out.
I don't know about that. But we ain't sure, but we put our time in. You gotta. That's the biggest thing. Is you put the time in. There's a lot of things that go into that. So, a lot of days I'm not seeing a thing. So,
Do you think? Oh, I mean, obviously, probably you spend more time scouting than you do hunting. But what do you
Right.
think that ratio is? Like 70-30 or?
Probably about 80-20, I guess. It's a lot. Cause as soon as February 10th's over, we go and start looking more because you can see so much with their leaves off. You know, that's a lot of days doing that. So we'll still end up hunting probably 40, 50 days maybe. And if we're lucky, you know, we'll kill, you know, this will be the first year right now that I've not killed one on this place beside the doe, but my wife has. So usually I'll kill some kind of 3-year-old buck or older for the last, I don't know, 10 plus years, maybe 15 years. But this year I've passed up some 2-year-olds and some decent bucks, but just haven't seen a big one. So, but
are you breaking down the same piece over and over every year, or are you traveling to different pieces?
Well, we got different areas, but we got some historical ones, you know, that you're going to check and see if there's a certain things there that you're going to go ahead and hunt. So,
yeah.
You know, but you know, now I have more time being retired. I can kind of spread out and spend some more time in different places because I used to only have like 4 or 5 days in a row that I could do something like that. And if you're gun hunting, our gun hunts are specific days. It's not strictly wide open. So it'll only be open like every other weekend, 3 or 4 days. It just depends. So.
Oh, no.
So it's kind of, see, we do a lot of rest of the time you can archery hunt, so crossbow or a bow hunt. So then you have 5-day muzzleloader hunts for that place just right first week in November. And some of our other public land will have muzzleloader hunts too. So
On public land, what do you run for cameras?
you know, cell cams are tough. I've got a few of them, and I don't, because we don't have a real good signal, and I don't know, y'all might be the same way. If you get off a hill a little bit, it's tough with the signal. So
Yeah.
I've got a Browning that seemed to be doing real good, and I've got some stealth cams that are cheaper ones that do good. So I tried out the what's the ones everybody talks about, the crap?
Moultries?
No,
Tacticam.
Tacticam
Tacticam.
revealed.
I had some Tacticams, and they get water in them somehow. And I had 3 of them. Water got in 2 of them somehow or another, and their customer service wouldn't deal with it. They'd already got out of their warranty, and I don't deal with them anymore. So, but as far as regular cameras, the Browning like Strike Force or something, right around $100, $90, catch them on sale. I've had them. Some of them's probably pushing 10 years old. And I got a couple stealth cam that are real old. That's probably 12 years old that still work good. So they just take more batteries. So, but a lot of people try them cheap cameras out, but that's hit and miss. The $20 cameras. So, but I just go ahead and bite the bullet, spend $80, $90 for a good one I don't have to worry about, and just hopefully nobody will steal it. So
right. And so, like with camera placement, I know I hone in on it a little bit too. They'll say that, say I have that 2.5-year-old buck on camera, and because I'm walking around the woods, we do a lot of still hunting up north, and I'll come across a big heavy used scrape. And if I have a camera in my pack, I'll throw that camera up and see who's working that scrape. And, generally, you'll figure out, who owns that, right? Who's the big boy on the block. Now they say that those bucks will come back if they survive. In New York, it's very hard for a 2.5-year-old buck to survive. Guilty, but they say that buck will come back and work that scrape the next year. Do you ever hone in on that?
Yeah, that's a community scraping. Yeah, that's we all believe that. The big scrapes with the licking branches and stuff. So they're historical. They come back to them. So sometimes I put cameras on them, but it's a hard thing, because a lot of people find them cameras like that because it's the big scrapes people can find them. So, and plus you have to put them real high for our deer, because them big bucks, sometimes they see them dang cameras, they won't come back. So
right.
So it's kind of, I try to just put them on kind of places where they're traveling through.
Gotcha.
And where they won't be locked down at somewhere for a while. It gives them a chance to see the camera. So I just try to put them on travel corridors and just point. I have better luck with cameras real low to the ground, as far as I'm not seeing them versus mid height or higher up. So.
Oh, really? That's nice. Yeah. I like that. So so how low are you talking?
I'm talking about like a foot or 2. You just got to be somewhere where the stuff don't grow up. So it's got to be like a rocky area or some kind of funky pinch where you don't have, brush to grow up in front of them. So.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, that monster buck, when that was a camera, that camera wasn't that high off the ground. So, and he never seen it, and some other bucks never seen it. So,
yeah.
Now, when you set your cameras, do you like to put them on video or do you like a picture?
I just put them on like 4 or 5 shot pictures. So.
Yep.
And
Okay.
that's, and, I love the video. I've got friends that do that, but you got to be able to change them batteries out pretty quick because they don't last long enough for me. So like I say, I'll check them in February to April, then I won't check them again to August, September, and then that's only 2 times a year that I mess with them. So
No
Right.
shit.
No kidding. So you're letting them soak out there.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm guilty of just
Well, you don't want the deer to pattern you. So you start walking in there too many times, doing things, them suckers will pattern you. So I just put them there, leave it, and trust my gut. So
Yeah.
use that information for the next season. So
yeah, I'm guilty of that. I go in there, I'm like, I put it out, and then a month goes by, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta see what's going on in there.
yeah, it's the cell cams can help if I do that, but that's just I've not had that much luck yet with cell cams and having the places I want to put them. So because most of my travel corridors that are good are lower, so you just don't get good cell signals. So.
Right.
That and there's a lot of weird, like bucks act weird because they always like they'll be feeding or whatever, and then they look up at the camera like as soon as because with the mole trees you get a picture, so you'll see a buck walk through and you're like, oh, all right, request a video. So it's recording all the time, but when you request it, then it picks its head up and everything and looks right at the camera. Like there's no, it just seems weird. It seems like they understand or know or feel something. I don't know.
It's got to be making some kind of noise, I'm assuming, but I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's kind of odd. I don't have any. I don't think none of mine will request a video, but that is pretty cool stuff. So.
Mine, I hang mine up high so they're looking down.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of guys that'll bring, a stick or two into the woods
Yeah, that's what I do.
and throw their stick up and, put it up high.
Yeah.
But
I do that to an extent too, but it just a lot of times it limits on how much time you got to pick them up.
right.
So you'll get a lot of butt pictures or no pictures sometimes. So to me, so that's why I like them low and an angle on a trail or something. That way, it's got plenty of time to pick them up, coming to it or walking away from it. So versus on something and they just walk up there and just for a split second and it just gets the butt or something if it's too high. Which I guess on a scrape it would be better because they're there, so they're going to work it. So you can do that.
Right.
But I just don't have no luck doing those scrapes. Because biggest thing, I'm afraid somebody's going to steal them because everybody's looking for scrapes now. That's a popular thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that you walk in there and you look at your camera, there's no SD card, and you're like, I swear, because I'm guilty of it too. And I've had my father backhand like this. You walk in there and there's no SD card, and I'm like, I sat in camp. I put SD cards in every single one of these cameras because somebody comes by and goes, "Oh, look at this!" Click, pull it out, put it in their pocket.
Or you never turn it on. I was guilty of that a lot. Man, you put a camera out there for 2 months and you're like, "Yep, can't wait to get back in there, go check it," and was never even turned on.
wow, that would hurt right there. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I always turn mine on. I always format that card. So that makes it me for sure that it's on, and then I just hit that menu button and it goes back to normal mode. So that way I know I've turned it on. So I always format that card every time I put one in there. So
What do you use for scent control?
Wildlife Research Center. I mean that's a crazy topic, but I'm a true believer that you can reduce your scent, or minimize it. So. And but you got people that argue that, but I take shower and stuff like that because the places and y'all probably with the hill country and stuff y'all got, there's wind is one of the things that's hard to control, and some of the best hunting areas that we have, you got multiple ways a deer can come, and I'll try to set up where if that scent blows that way, they'll have a shot. So most of the time, I feel like if you reduce that scent, a buck will like stop or a deer stop and say, "Was that yesterday, last week, or what?" Or if you don't. Your strong odor, they pick that up faster to me. So I'm a big believer in that. Been doing it for I don't know how long time. So
You want to know what I love about that? You're the first guy that we've ever talked to and asked that question to, and you didn't say eliminate. It's all about reducing and minimizing, not eliminating.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to completely eliminate, but you can definitely tone it down. And you can tell, like, I don't know if you've ever been out of a different country or like that. You got people that don't take showers like we do, or maybe we take too many showers and they walk in the room. You can smell them as soon as they walk in the room.
Mhm.
and the other people you don't. So if you can tell the difference, a deer can smell better than us for sure, but this definitely can tell the difference. So if he thinks it was last week or something, you got to have a split second and get a shot. So to me, so it helps, and I mean it's just something I use in my system. I believe in it. My wife believes in it, so I'm not going to change it. That's once you build a system that you're confident with, everything, that's just part of it. That's what I'm going to do. So.
So what is your system? You shower before every hunt and spray down and do all that?
Yep. Clothes are washed in it, spray down with it when we leave, spray the bottom of the boots and stuff. So just try to keep it minimized. I don't like touching stuff barehanded. Like when you're even after season, I'm that dang critical. I don't like touching stuff barehanded. I wear some kind of gloves to pull these back, look at tracks or look at whatever. So putting cameras out, some kind of gloves. So it's just, and part of that's from the trapping thing. You try to control your scent too, because it don't take much for it. They figure out a scent, they learn it quick. So.
Back to the scrape thing. Are you one to go out and make a mock scrape, and you put anything in it at all, or do you just stay away from that?
I've made some. I don't do it as much now, and if I did, I would just put some kind of dominant buck urine or something in it. I think doing that stuff more buck related to me. You can get away with them versus pouring, dough and extras or something in it. So because that's only a minimum amount of time that they're going to be in heat. So.
That makes sense. So when you go into a piece, are you looking at it and being like, okay, here's food and here's what I think is better, and then looking for a crossing and making it make sense? Or are you making it make sense in your head beforehand and figuring out where the deer are traveling through after?
So one more time, kind of.
Are you making it make sense in your head beforehand and going in there to prove it, or are you going in there to make it make sense to you?
It's like you already kind of have a plan going in, obviously with your maps and stuff, and then you're just kind of triangulating everything together, and where the X lies is where you're going to go.
Right. Yeah. Every time I put a camera out or pick an area, I always make sure I got access to get in. I can get there. All right. And then I can have a tree looking, and I say, all right, I can hunt right there. I can hunt out of that tree. I can get in this way. So all that's pre-planned, and a lot of it's confirmed by the camera data stuff or by historical data from us hunting for years, in some of these places, because just like what y'all are doing, which y'all are still kind of younger, you'll find places, unless there's a bomb goes off or something completely, deer travel and habitat does not change that much, regardless. Even if you have cuts done, they're still going to use that. That might just adjust a little bit. But them bedding places, a buck learns how to bed somewhere to survive. He's got the best visual, the best, way to smell. We're using thermals, whatever. So that stuff don't really change. So when you learn about a big buck in an area, or if you find a shed or something like that, that's historical, and there's a reason behind that. A lot of people will chase their way out of success by leaving deer to find deer, where you don't really have to. You don't really have to. So,
amen to that.
So now, like when you go into a spot and you pick out a spot to put your camera and everything, because this is something that we argue with in the dark all the time. So you pick out a tree to hunt out of in every spot that you think is good, that you remember?
Yeah, if I can't hunt there, there's no reason for me to put a camera there. To me, some people put cameras in to get inventory or whatever, but I'm putting cameras in to actually kill or harvest. So
that's
the most badass thing ever.
That's exactly how we are. That's how I run too. I mean, why do I care? Yes, I care that buck is okay. I have a picture of him walking into that camera. Okay, well, did he come in from the left and then look at the camera straight? He come into the right. So I'm like, screw it, he's in there somewhere. Look around, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna get in that tree right there. And that came from my father. I mean, that's what he taught me is, you go in there and you're standing there looking around. It's that same thing. You're trying to put the puzzle together, and then you make that decision. Okay, I'm gonna hunt in here. If there's a buck that I like on this camera, I'm gonna hunt in here.
Yeah.
And then your second nature is, okay, let me find a tree that I'm going to climb.
Right. Most of our stuff, is rut hunting. So that's kind of different than, I don't know how much actual bed hunting y'all do up north where individual beds or individual bucks. So that's one of the hardest things I always do is pick out a buck, an individual buck, and just stay on him. And that's, I'm not geared that way. I want the better odds. So I'm trying to find where there's more bucks can come through. So early season, yeah, you can target individual bucks, but I don't spend about 2 days in a place. I'm moving on somewhere else. So because it don't take them long to pattern you doing that. So
right. We can get snow anytime after like November 10th.
Yeah.
So a lot of the public land guys that are pretty hardcore, we'll split up with a couple guys. I mean, there's a lot of mornings that I've been on the, phone's hooked up to my truck, and I'll be on the phone with my buddy, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna cut up this block, go up this logging road, and we're looking for a track.
right.
And once you can get on something that you like, there's 2 things that we can do. You take that track. Well, if it's not a big block and you think he might circle back out of there, you can have a guy almost go and sit watch as you're tracking him and kill him like that. But I pride myself into tracking. I mean, that's what I love to do.
Yeah. I watch quite a bit of shows where y'all doing that in Maine and Vermont and all that, even New York, Adirondack stuff. That if I would lived up there, that would be exactly what I'd be doing is tracking them big bucks.
Oh, you'd love it. Especially a guy like you, that the science that runs in your mind with how these deer move. I'll give you a hint.
Make a killing up here.
You know how easy it is to pattern a buck on snow? Real easy. You can walk in and and it's funny, because where I am, you can't kill does with a gun. You can kill them during that early bow season, but after that, you can't. Right. So we have some pretty prehistoric does up there that have big tracks. But once you get on that big splayed track, he has a big wide gate. He's toe dragging. You're like, okay, that track gets me excited. I'm going to take it. Then he'll, say there's 6 inches of snow, right? He'll get in there and start browsing on stuff on the ground. Well, you look where he's browsing. What you have to pay attention to is you can tell if that buck is a decent rack buck. You look in the snow, then you can see his tines, where his tines will hit the snow, and you go, well, geez, I guess my science is right. I'm on a rack buck. So
is that Joe Donito or whatever it is? He out of New York.
Yep. Joe Donito is he? Yeah. He's.
I've watched a bunch of his videos and stuff. So.
And you know what? Joe Donito kills a lot of big bucks. God bless him. I mean, like us, we're on 100,000 acre pieces of public.
Wow. And
so yeah, we're not going to kill Joe Donito style bucks. We try we try to pretend that they're in there, but we always bump a couple good ones a year. So
there's a couple other guys I think out in New York I watched several of them. The big Northwoods hunters, big woods bucks, whatever it is. A couple of them I like watching. Especially this time of the year because they're starting to put up more of their videos. Because you can learn just watching some of that stuff, that trying to figure out pattern stuff and what they're doing.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, what's cool is like what Joe Donito and like Hell Blood do.
Blood.
Yep. It's funny to see how my deer movements are so much like theirs, because they're in a lot of beaver pond country, beaver flow country, where it's wet, brother. I mean, it is wet. And it's funny how these bucks will find these little skinny spots where they can get across that beaver flow, and to try to follow them, you're like, gosh, geez, it's going to take me 45 minutes because I'm kind of a big cat and I got to get around this beaver flow. Right. So it's, and then you have to pray to God that you can pick his track up on the other side. So no, it's cool. I'll tell you, you want to go up and mess around in the big woods up on the snow? Come on up, baby.
Yeah, I might have to do that. So, me and my brother's done some different things. So I might have to do that one time. We drove through Maine, New York and stuff a bunch of times going to New Brunswick. And that's pretty country. So,
it is it's beautiful. And I mean, like down here in the central southern part of the state of New York, there's big hill countries, big elevation changes. By us, you have, some rolling hills, but you have a lot of knobs, beaver swamps, big woods country. No, there's no ag. We don't have any. They have ag down here in this general area, but up north, I mean, it's all big woods. It's all, you're going to go in and after about 3 days, you're going to have to really ask yourself sitting at the dinner table, like, boy, do I really want to do this? But it's so fun. Like when I came on this podcast, you know, and you hear it in different podcasts, like, oh, where do you hunt? Oh, well, I hunt the southern half of Ohio. When I first came onto this podcast, I said, I hunt in the wildlife management area of 6N, and I hunt in the town of Redfield. And these guys are looking at me like, you're crazy, man. What are you doing? And I'm like, if anybody wants to buck up, pack their bags, and come try to track bucks on snow, God bless their heart. I hope they can drink, because they got to come up and it's going to be a good time.
Right.
It's tough. It's rugged. It really is.
Wow. Yeah, we hunt several different mammoth areas. The main one we're talking about is like 90-something thousand acres, and it has another 100 to go with it, and that's the biggest mammoth area we got in the state. So we're probably pushing maybe 700,000 of total acres. So, and that's that's not a whole lot for the, that's all over the whole state. So that's not a whole lot compared to, y'all for sure. I wouldn't think so.
Right. Yeah. It's, we have a lot of state land. We really do.
So much.
And in the southern, again, so we have a northern tier and a southern tier, and there's different rules and regulations, and there's different seasons for down south compared to up north. Like up north, our gun season is over a month long, our rifle season.
Wow.
And so the caliber of bucks that you see up north that get shot, I mean, they're a good buck up north is 100 inches down, on the farmlands. There's guys, don't get me wrong, they do kill really big bucks up north, but you watch social media opening day of rifle in the southern tier, and you're like,
Pretty hectic.
Mama mia. And there's 130-inch bucks dead all over the place.
A lot of Western New York too. A lot of giants come out of Western New York.
Yeah, out towards like Buffalo, the
My
Buffalo
goodness.
area, out where like by Erie, Pennsylvania. It's the bucks out there.
That's
they-
big ag too.
Yeah,
They're big
they
ag.
got it figured out. There's a lot of monster bucks coming out of there.
Wow. So what do y'all call a real good buck for y'all's area?
For me and him, for down here, a real good buck, I would say like 115 inches is a really, really good buck. Like I imagine that's what we set our sights for every year.
Yeah, 115 to 120,
Yeah.
somewhere in that region.
Yeah, that's a pretty good buck. In our state, we got the big buck movement now. So it's I know some friends that'll pass 115. I'm trying to go 3.5 and older on our public land. So the one I've killed, the one this year was probably about 113 inches. My wife like close to 110. So, and they're mature body bucks, but we'll get there's plenty of them.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
130s are real good. I've killed 5 over 135 on public land. So it just.
And now, so take those 5 bucks that you killed that were over 135 inches. What did they weigh? That's what it's so funny how as the farther you get south, those deer, they're totally different looking animal. Like what did those deer weigh?
The biggest one weighed 225. That's 18 point. I've killed one. That's live weight, where y'all are looking at, gutted weight. So, y'all looking for 200 pounds after it's gutted, right? So kind of as far as the target. So, I've killed one that weighed 200, 205, but most of them's 180 or something like that on a big one. So that's
Right.
live. That's live weight. My wife weighed 175, good sized body deer. The one I killed on a little bit farther south weighed 160, I think, something like that. So
Yeah. So that's one of like the big Adirondack Tug Hill thing is, I mean, you can shoot a buck that's 100 inches, and however, with the feed and stuff up there, because them poor suckers are eating on briars, and they never seen a corn kernel unless Jimbo's got one behind his house illegally.
right.
But it's really the chase for. I never measured a buck. This was the first year I ever measured a buck.
Yeah.
But the race is on for that 200-pound buck.
Right.
And it's just that's what gets me. That's what gets me excited. Like
Yeah,
guys,
that's part of that maturity thing. More mature bucks, you're going by the weight, and that's there's nothing wrong with that, and that's a good way to do it. So
yeah.
What did your bait that you shot this year weigh?
my 8 this year, it was at the end of the rut. He was run out, but he was 160 pounds. He gutted.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's
he was,
that's over 200 pound live weight for sure. So
yeah, he was really, he wasn't that long. That was the thing. Like I call him
really short body.
yeah, I call them limousine bucks. The really mature bucks. I mean, they look like a big limousine, beef cow. But
Right.
he was really short, but he had a really, really big head on him. I actually just measured him last night, and he was 107/8.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, that's good. So y'all have y'all don't really have big non-typical. Y'all just have like mainframe 8s or something like that. So kind of.
Yeah, it's hard to get anything around here. I shot an 11 point here at the house in 2017, but that's, I don't know. It's hard. I think that was the third buck over an 8 point ever killed off this hill since we've lived here. Like a lot of them are just big eights.
we have some pockets, and actually, you kind of touched on it too. With like, they brought those Michigan genetics down, and next thing you know, you ended up with these freaks.
Mhm.
So we have areas in New York that, like Ithaca. Ithaca is known for these
Big deer.
big, crazy, just Chernobyl type bucks.
Wow.
But I mean, so that was my rifle buck that I was talking about before. But like, this was the first year that I shot a non-typical buck. I shot a buck with a little drop tine, and that was down here in the southern part of the state.
Yeah. Our drop times is, my brother got that one. That's the only one I know I got another guy that killed one, but they're very, very rare.
Yeah.
We get them with the flyers, and stickers and stuff like that, pretty regular. But drop times, that's a rare animal around here. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Do you, by chance, we'll have to get a little bit, sorry, I get messed up with my words sometimes. There's a lot of big deer in front of me right now. Is there any sort of like lucky charm, or do you got to shut the door 3 times before you leave the truck, or any sort of ritual or anything?
No, just go. I mean, make sure you dang going. That's it.
That's right.
So,
Get in there, baby. Start hunting.
yeah. A lot of people don't like a wind. I like a moving wind. I don't like them calm days. I've seen more big bucks in the winds than I have any other time. So, after a front to me is very important versus before the front. It's just, I've seen more, big bucks or bigger bucks in them time frames. So, but, you got to be there to kill one. That's the biggest thing. And you got to pay them dues is what a lot of them say, or you spend your time. Just like y'all, you got to get after them tracks. You got to go get, if you don't drive and see tracks, hit them dang woods and get out there and find a track, whatever.
Yep,
so
exactly.
you got to be doing it. So.
And now your setups on public land, are you like, these guys are big saddle hunters? I'm tried and true climber. I love my Summit Goliath climber. I love that thing. What do you use?
I've used a variety, whatever it takes. I don't have a regular saddle. I've got a JX3 saddle, but my brother uses a regular one. But I like a lock on. I've got a B-stand lock on with some sticks. I've used that in Kansas. That's a real good way to get into some cover. You can get in any tree. If I was a younger cat, I would have been all over that saddle stuff, and I might still get one just for a certain thing, but whatever it takes to do it, I don't mind like sneaking in and putting a lock on ahead of time. We can do that. So, and that, a lock on you can get, or even a saddle, you can get in them limbs, you can get it in cover, and don't have to be high, 8-10 foot up off the ground. So,
Hey, look at that.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer, and I like to hunt like 10 foot off the ground. My tree stand, I went with the custom gear platform and all that, and so 2 sticks and 2 8ers, I get 10. If I stretch it out, I could probably get like 11 and a half or whatever, but I see more deer. It's like they have a blind spot there. I don't know what it is, or it makes you pay more attention to where they're coming from and where the cover is, and it just makes you think a little bit more about it all.
Yeah, if you get too high, it's easier to get skylighted, so you stay lower in them or limbs and the cover and stuff to me. The back cover is way more important than anything to me. So that's just.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree with you.
Plus, if you're bow hunting or whatever, it takes away that angle. You don't have to worry about them angles as bad. You know, so
Yep.
we do a lot of bow hunting, crossbow hunting. So that's pretty much trained me not to get too high. So, but now if you cut over hunting and you got a rifle where you can shoot 200 yards or something, you kind of need to get a little bit higher and carry binoculars and stuff.
Yep.
And use them climbers for that. So,
That's right.
yeah, I've got 3 or 4 summits. I use API quite a bit. I've had the old tree lounge years ago. That was the first tree stand I ever bought, was the old original tree lounge. So
Yeah.
toted that thing a many a mile. So
Yeah.
Was it as comfortable as everybody says it was?
thing crazy comfortable. That's the most comfortable stand to me there are. So if you
Right.
want to you could go to sleep and sleep without any kind of issue, because you're laying down. Basically, I always had the foot platform where I could stand up. I even carried that thing in Colorado. The first deer I killed with the bow was in Colorado, mule deer doe, with that dang stand and the dang aspen tree. So
Oh,
yeah, so I mean, we was hardcore and tried to be comfortable. I told that son gun ain't no telling how many miles. So
How heavy is that thing, you think?
that thing, if with all your stuff, be 50-something pounds total.
Oh,
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
That's
it's like toting the house with you. So
Yeah.
my father's 62 years old and he has had a summit on his back since he was a kid. And I can't believe how far that man travels with that thing on his back. And I'm like, why don't you go with like a hang-on setup? My dad's in phenomenal shape for freaking 62 years old. I'm like, why don't you get the sticks and we'll get you a hang-on. And he goes, nope. He goes, I've killed more big bucks out of this climber. And he I don't blame him. I mean, shit, they're comfortable as hell. But oh man, I'm like, Dad, you're sick. You're up in there in your 60s now, and he still totes it in there. He doesn't care.
yeah. I mean, that's the comfort of it and what you're familiar with too. It means a lot. So if you got the trees to do it, them dang poplar trees, certain pine trees, the easiest thing to do is climb up one of them. So but. And I can still do a climber faster than the sticks. I'm still learning on the stick stuff. I've done it quite a bit the last couple of years. So, and I really love that, especially going out of state. Because the trees in, say, Kansas and Wyoming or Iowa, all that they don't have many straight, skinny, smooth trees. They got limbs everywhere. So,
Yep.
especially them cottonwoods, you can put a dang lock on or something. Them cottonwoods, that's a big tree they got out there. So that's what we used to doing it now. So.
No kidding.
So you post pretty publicly, like on where you harvested. That you're not scared of any of that?
Come on.
I'm all for
Is
that,
that
brother.
a badge of honor?
I love that.
Like I'm telling everybody, I wrote articles for years for nothing, for free, promoting public land for like 15 years, and I'd always write about specific public lands that you can use because it's our land, and nobody ever said a thing. Well, since Facebook and all that crap's going out, I always take pictures of the bigger deer in front of the actual management area signs. I'm a wildlife management area hunter. That's most of the thing we hunt. And people get butthurt over that. But my thing is, if you don't know, like, have you ever heard of Pike County, Illinois?
Yeah.
Bigger Saskatchewan, or I mean, how do you know about these places? How do you know about these deer like Kansas? How would you know how to go hunt there if you've never seen a picture of a buck from Kansas? So if you don't know the potential of that area, I mean, how do you know how to set goals? If you can kill a 140-inch deer in this area, and there's quite a bit of them getting killed there. If you don't never see a picture of them, you're shooting spikes or 4 points or whatever because you don't know you can pass up a year-and-a-half-old buck or a 2.5-year-old and have the chance of killing a 150. So to me, if you don't know that and you don't see it, how do you know what the potential is of the area? That's why I do it mainly. It's not for me. I don't care. I mean, that deer deserves that notoriety, and the area deserves that or notoriety to me. So, I mean, it's not got anything to do with me trying to piss off people because it's their spots or it's my, hey, they're coming after me more than they are any of them because I post them. So it's not bothering me. So, I mean, but people don't like it, but I'm still going to do it. So I don't see. So.
I love that.
Oh, shit. That is such a good spinoff. That was probably the best answer I could have wished for ever.
Yeah.
And even like to the management aspect, you're not doing it to get a bunch of people to hunt there, but the people that do come hunt there, like, this is the potential of it. This is what you can expect and everything. That was absolutely incredible answer. I can't believe that was unreal.
Yeah, because when I went to Kansas, my goal was a 140 because I see all these pictures of these 180s and all that. So I'm trying to hold out for at least a 140. I'm not going to, because I know they're there. So that's, so that's how you do it. I mean, that's how you share it. If not, there wouldn't be no 140s anywhere because everybody be shooting spikes and 4 points, whatever, because they don't know. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's
That's
not,
such a
I
good
don't do it to boast me or whatever. It's just, so it's just trying to help everybody. We got places in Alabama. We got one in particular that I really like, that you can shoot 2 deer a day, every gun hunt, every archery hunt, a buck and a doe, because then people want people to be able to come in there and enjoy it and shoot whatever. And that's fine, because, you got people say weekend warriors or whatever. All they want to do is try to get a chance at a deer for meat. Well, that's fine too. So I'm not being critical about any of that, but I want you to know the potential of the area or what you can do. So that's why I try to promote the way I can, is what you can do. So
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, that's wicked.
That's real life.
Yeah. That's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
it's just like what y'all doing. Y'all picking out certain size tracks and stuff,
Yeah.
and and then when you get to that deer, when you do harvest it, you're seeing, say 100-inch deer is a good deer, but it weighs 250 to 350 pounds. That sets up a good goal for folks versus shooting a 150-pound little 4-point or whatever year and a half. So that just gives people ideas and good goals, I think. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Helps everybody. Yeah.
Now, do you have you started? Well, you're still in your deer season, but do you have any big plans for next year? Any like oddball places that you plan on going?
We're talking about putting in for Iowa for next year, and then my wife wants to try to go to Wyoming for antelope. She has not killed antelope yet, so we're going to put in for those two for drawing for sure. And if we don't get drawn in Iowa, we'll probably look in either Kentucky or Missouri maybe. So
Yep.
So are you pretty confident that you'll draw with 3 in Iowa? Or?
I'm pretty sure. I've talked to a few people that's for archery, that they're saying it's pretty good shot. And the area we're using is not really what they call the big buck areas. So you got certain areas in Iowa that everybody wants to go to, just like Pike County, Illinois, or that area. So but we're in a different place. So because it's public land. That's one thing about Iowa. Like here you have people we can shoot 3 bucks. And a lot of people down here we need to just knock it down to 1 buck. But if you live in Iowa as a citizen, you can kill 2 for sure, maybe 3 if you get one of them urban tags, whatever it is. So and then on their public land, when them guys when they're opening them gun hunts up on that public land, them cats are shooting whatever. They're doing man drives and stuff. So everybody tries to will say that they're being negative about me posting pictures, but they're always wanting to be something. They think greener pasture. This place can do it. Why can't we do it here? So you got to research all that and get the full information before you start talking about all this stuff. So.
I'll tell you what, I'm a young buck. People wanted to come at me, and I had a deer full body mount like that. I'd get behind that thing and go, I'm sorry, I can't hear you over this 196 inches. Acts as a sound blocker. No, it's funny with the internet. Everything's funny. I mean, everything from fishing to hunting to like
anything outdoors.
Yeah, it's really, back in the day when, in my teens, you could go, because like Pulaski, New York, that's like the big salmon fishing capital of the Northeast. Used to be able to go down and you could go fish the salmon would come in, big schools would come in. You'd be able to fish in there for like 4 or 5 days. Yeah, the people would start to come in a little bit more. Now these fellas watch on Facebook. Next thing you know, the outfitters and stuff, because they want to make money, God bless them. They're like, yep, counted 200 fish come through the trestle pool today or at the staircase. And I kid you not, that night, next thing you know, all you see in town,
14,000.
Yeah, there's thousands of people, Connecticut, New Jersey. The Russians drive legitimate party buses up from New York City.
Like just right in the river.
Oh yeah, they get in fist fights over these fish that are coming up to die, and it's just it's crazy, man. Like you think
Wow.
public land hunting is crazy?
Salmon River's wild.
The Salmon River, baby. You want to tell? It's just it is western.
Everybody ought to experience that at least once in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, them fish are coming up to spawn. They're dying after they spawn, right? So
Yep,
they're just
yep.
But
That's what the kings do. The kings come up, they spawn, they die, and there's two types of people. There's salmon fishermen, and then there's trout fishermen, which are catching like the steelhead and the browns.
Yeah.
If you go to these parking lots and state accesses and private accesses that there's salmon fishermen, they're disgusting. Cigarette butts, cigarette boxes, chip bags, garbage.
Yeah.
Now, when the steelhead come in after the salmon run, because they're eating the eggs, you look at those parking lots, they're cleaner because all the steelhead fishermen came in and picked up all the garbage. It's like basically the difference between big woods buck hunters and road hunters. It's just, it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. But y'all they got laws like in Alaska. I've been in Alaska a few times, and their king salmon, is the salmon that they worry about, which they worry about other ones. They have certain fish counters and different things they do where for the commercial stuff, they make sure so many salmon are making it up to spawn before they let them catch too much. They have what they call openers or stuff where you can only hunt commercial fish for a couple hours or 20 hours or whatever. So they can try to keep that where it's a renewable resource. So they kind of control that. So I'm assuming y'all got rules like that or laws to keep people from taking too many before they go up.
So you can catch 3 salmon a day. But so what all these fish are doing is they're running to the hatchery, and there's a big stretch of river that's protected. That's, because they're almost to the hatchery, and when they stage if you look it up, the Salmon River Fish Hatchery, I like bringing my kids up there and people from out of town because they have these big concrete bunkers that the fish all work into. And then there's thousands of massive spawning salmon. And you can look right over the railing and you see them in these big concrete bunkers.
Wow.
What they're waiting for is the state will bring in their staff. They turn on a fish elevator. The fish elevator goes in and they just start, they have quotas of how many pounds of eggs they want to take. And they'll start ripping these fish open, and you can go into the facility and you watch the staff harvest the males, harvest the females, and actually mix the eggs and the milk right there in front of you.
Right. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. We live in a really, really cool place in upstate New York.
That's pretty wild. That's pretty neat that, Alaska has fish hatcheries too, but them dang fish know that's where they come from. Yeah, as from an egg, and they make it back up to them exact place where they're spawned at. So that's amazing. That's incredible how nature does that. So,
and it's not like they have to travel 2 miles of river once they leave Lake Ontario. It's several miles of, think about this. That fish has to reach in the last several years, I would say the age class of fish coming up the river has declined a little bit. You're getting a lot more like 2-year-old fish coming up instead of like 4-year-olds, which are kind of trying to figure out. But these fish have to make it past thousands of anglers.
Right. Different tributaries, everything.
Thousands of anglers. They like a lot of them will go in once they get into the hatchery. They could have like 20 hooks in them. So they have survived being hooked 20 times, 30 times, and now they're there to spawn for that next generation. It's just, it's crazy. I love it so much.
That's very neat. Yeah, that area I went brown bear hunting and stuff, the Copper River, they say because that river is so strong and so rough, that's the best salmon because it takes so much body fat for them to make it that far up there to spawn. So they're a better tasting salmon and stuff. So it's pretty competitive, I guess, in the same way what y'all talking. So.
Yeah,
nothing but the elite.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
But so I know you went up to New Brunswick and hunted black bear. How was that? How was that experience?
It's bait hunting. It's great. It's a good, relaxing hunt. My wife killed a 404 pounder with a crossbow, a whopper, just liked a little bit back in Boone and Crockett. So I took 2 Pope and Young ones I killed one with a recurve. It was just a good, relaxing hunt. We got to know the people real good. I even went up there on a moose hunt and got a moose, and it's just an incredible, just like y'all's are. It's similar to y'all's train and stuff. It was on a big river, the St. John River. So
I actually have friends that go up there to Texas River Outfitters, and that's in New Brunswick too.
Yeah, it's a pretty part of the country too, or part of the world. So it's just, we're planning on driving up there this year and just going visiting the people, because we knew the grandma and all that, and they've done passed away. And then the guy that had the guide operation, his wife passed away this past year from cancer. So we've
no kidding.
kind of kept up with them over the years, and just almost like family. And so we're going to drive up there for a visit and just to see some stuff. I think I've killed 10 bears. I've killed 7 black bears and 2 brown bears and a grizzly. So don't really want to.
It's quite a resume.
Oh God.
That's just a part of the hunt. I like, whitetails is what I really love, but I like hunting some predator stuff too. The brown bears, I've done the mountain lions, and that stuff is unique, and you learn more doing stuff like that out of the box that'll
Right.
go into your whitetail hunting. So I love doing different things when I can. So, and again, doing this, like I'm retired now, worked at a chemical plant for 27 and a half years, and just figured out a way. And my wife is we're not a keep up with the Joneses type of family. So we just kept everything what we needed, minimalistic, and be able to go do trips like that. So I really suggest, or like y'all being young guys, if you want to do something outside the box, there's places where you start, like you saying, you've been getting moose points for however long, but there's places in the West and Alabama or out in the country that you can say mountain goat or sheep or something like that, where it's going to take 15 to 20 plus points. Start doing that now while you're young, and hopefully you can get the draw, because other than that, you're not really going to have another chance of doing that without going, say, maybe to Canada or maybe to Alaska or maybe to Mexico for some of the sheep and stuff. So
Right.
try to, if you want to do something like that, try to plan ahead of time, because it's very doable for a young person, but it's going to take you 15, 20 years to draw one of them awesome tags. If that bighorn sheep would be like incredible to me, or even, in the lower 48, or a desert sheep maybe, or a mountain goat, because that's just, there's only so many states that have stuff like that. If you want to do it, start planning stuff like that. If you want a mule deer hunt, plan that stuff. So anything like that, plan it, because it helps you as more of an outdoorsman to learn different things and go to different states and see different terrain, different habitats. So,
And all the points you're buying is going to the state too, so you're helping out the wildlife management and all that in there too.
Yeah, a lot of people that the anti-hunters and a lot of the normal people don't really realize, like Alabama, our conservation department is strictly funded by fishing license sales and hunting license sales, not any kind of tax money. They get some federal money that matches from the Pittman-Robertson Act from ammo sales and stuff like that, but you got to have license sales to get that money. It's not given to you just because you got animals. So the people in California, they won't let mountain lion hunters, or don't let mountain lions get hunted. So they're kind of expanding, but they have to call the cops or call somebody to come get rid of the thing. Or you demonetize that. If you had hunts and kind of control them numbers, you would have money to help, for that habitat or for that animal. But they don't, because they don't understand what it takes for that stuff. So.
Yeah, because you can take care of a problem and benefit and make money off of it. And then it's hard to make people understand that.
Yeah, we got minds that we can manage. Hunters and outdoors people can manage, numbers or populations a lot better than the wild can, because the wild, it goes from one extreme to the other.
Right.
Overgrazing or too many predators or too many animals, whatever, it goes up and down, where we can kind of keep it mediocre. So, but a lot of people don't realize that, a lot of city folk, I guess you can say, because they don't really, the way they're, just like wherever you live at, wherever you're born at and raised at, you only know what you were taught. So
Right.
You don't know, you just see stuff off TV or whatever you think but in reality, you don't really know. So
That's like all of our laws and everything that get passed in our state capital down in Albany, which is downstate, only just north of New York City.
Conveniently located.
Yeah, conveniently located. They don't think they don't know that there's the rest of the state that exists beyond that.
Yeah, 90% of them haven't even seen a cow ever in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, that's why it, whenever we can get someone into, the state assembly or whatever that does have those grassroots, say he's not even a hunter, but his family owned a dairy farm back in the day, or that woman owned a dairy farm back in the day, something like that. It's always good to try to get this younger generation to look at that and get out there and vote for those, blue collared
Yeah,
Americans.
the understanding part
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough. Like in Colorado this year, they actually allowed the voting public to vote on whether or not to mountain lion hunt somewhere. And that's, say in Alabama, less than 4% of the population, or maybe less than 3% of the population buy a hunt license. So if you let the voting public vote on deer season and stuff, that might not turn out good. Because,
Right.
So we got to be careful about how we figure out a way to manage that stuff, and getting people in the right positions, because if not, if you let the general public, the bigger cities control stuff that they don't know anything about, we're in a bad way. So
Yeah.
Right. And I've followed quite a few articles that you've been involved in, and what I've noticed is you really like to push to that younger generation to basically get off your ass and get out there and hunt and enjoy what God's created for us.
right.
You have a gift of the wilderness that's out there, especially with state land. It's yours. Go out there and take it. Go out there and, immerse yourself in the spirit of the wild. And
Right.
it's
good.
Yeah, and it's just the younger generation of getting them out there to go to 3D archery shoots,
Right.
to go out there and wander the woods and go throw up a trail camera. It's stuff like this, it's smaller podcasts like this that we're grassrooting to expand throughout New York State, and we're telling our tales.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of these younger kids that they're on social media and they listen to podcasts, and this is just one maybe speck on a bull's ass. But if we can get out there and if we can talk to 10 kids out there,
Any bit helps.
then maybe they get 2 of their friends. Next thing you know, there's 100 young bucks that want to get out there and go deer hunt. It's just that's what we're in it for. We're not only in it just to go out there and chase bone around and fry up inner tenderloins, but we really we try to spread the word as much as we can in central and northern New York, across the whole state really, and take a kid hunting. Get that kid that he might be interested. He wants to go down to the range and shoot that gun a little bit. Well, you want to know what? I'm going to teach you some firearm safety. I'm going to get you comfortable with that weapon, and we'll go out and we'll go door knock. We'll go talk to farmers and stuff that have 40 does out in their field every night, and teach that, because kids don't know how to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Take this 12 to 15-year-old kid. We're going to go over to Joe Smith's farm, and you're going to knock on the door. Sir, my name is so-and-so, and I'd like to hunt in the youth season. I'd like to hunt your property. What people don't realize, of course, if our 3 ugly mugs go up to that farm, he's going to be like, I'll see you guys later. No, thanks. But there's a lot of people around here that they would let that kid go on there, and they would let those kids harvest that. And we have a youth season now, which started 2 years ago.
No,
it was longer than that, 'cause he was a kid.
I was
First year.
yeah.
I missed it. They didn't have it when I was
What
a kid.
year was that?
That had to be 6. No,
No, you graduated
13.
in 16, so it had to have been 12
Oh,
or
yeah.
13.
So
13, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had the youth season a lot longer than that. So that's I can't even tell you when they done it. It's been way back. So that's
I
that's
think
kind
it
of
was
that's,
12.
yeah, 12 to 15.
I can't believe it took us this long to be able to do it. It blows
yeah,
my
that's
mind.
pretty, yeah. And y'all have an age limit, you said, so we don't have an age limit.
Yeah.
12 to 15.
And we did always have the youth turkey hunt.
Yeah.
We always had that, but we never had a youth deer season. And that lets them, the 12 to 15-year-olds, hunt with a rifle on Columbus Day weekend.
Yep.
That Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, and
We've had a youth season for a long time, and man, there's no age limits. You see a lot of 4-year-olds killing, stuff. So it's kind of,
That's what I would.
That's
I got.
what it
I have a
should be.
10.
Let's load the kids up.
10-year-old
Going to
daughter.
Alabama.
I got a 10-year-old daughter, and she just begs to kill deer, and I'm like, you just gotta wait. You gotta be patient.
we have youth season for deer and turkey. So down here, so it's, so
The only thing that sucks with the age limit is like, because now my daughter's 10 years old. She's into it now. In 2 years, a lot can change, and so why not get them into it when they're in it, and not when they change, because then it could be whatever the heck, you don't know.
yeah, when a kid like my son's never killed a deer, but when they hit teenage years, that's the last thing on their mind most time. It's everything's changed. So there's other things they want to do besides hunt when they hit that age. So it's just so 10 is a perfect time frame to me around that age, because they're not in a teenager yet, so they just want to get out and do something. So that's when I was that age. I wanted to do something outdoors, and it was very limited. So, and we lived kind of in the city to start with. So that's how I took up trapping. That's the only thing I could do. I wanted to do something. So my dad gave me a few traps, and I took off on a bicycle trapping because wasn't no deer around or anything like that. So that got me into the outdoors doing that. So
yeah.
So anything like that for the kids, get them into it somehow or another like that. Where we got a lot of trapping workshops now that's kind of picked up. So, but the archery in the school programs is that's a popular thing now. So any of that stuff like that really helps, and try to, and have all these podcasts now that's coming up with that stuff. It's giving that good information, talking about stuff like we're talking about tonight versus just talking about what we killed or whatever, the whole thing, the bigger picture. So that helps a lot. So that helps. So.
Yeah, we like to make it another thing that we really pride ourselves on is, there's a lot of younger guys. There's guys in their older years that they're like, man, how the heck am I going to go out there and maybe I won't hit the woods as hard because I'm not going to go kill a 140-inch buck. Well, I'll give you a hint. Why don't you get together with your friends? I don't care how old you are. Go out, go on a trip across the state, go a couple hours, do whatever, find some state land, rent an Airbnb, split it up, have drinks and fill up some, fry up some steaks, go out and have a good time and enjoy yourself.
I tell you what, if 3 kids that were like 16, 17 years old got together and hunted a piece and killed a 4-point, they would probably not understand how much fun they would have. Like, it blows my mind. And going back to like what Connor said, you can only hunt that's what people up here don't understand. You can only hunt as good a deer as that's there. And if an 87-inch 9-point is the biggest buck that's there, then that's what you're going after. That's what people have lost the art of killing deer. They just are harvesting deer. They want to hold out and wait until they see a giant. But if you've only killed 1 deer and then you see a giant, the biggest buck of your life, you're probably going to fall apart. As to where if you had gone through and harvested a couple spike horns and a bunch of doe or whatever with a bow, you're prepped, you're primed up, you understand a little bit more about it, and you learn so much from harvesting deer. People don't understand that.
Yeah, we got I'm glad you brought that up, because we got a guy in our area. His name's Pablo Escobar. He's originally from Costa Rica, but he's a citizen now, and he's getting pretty popular down here with some podcasts and stuff. And he is going through the hunting learning, and some of the things he didn't have a clue about. Like, y'all really need to look him up and kind of like promote it. They got some podcast stuff. He learned, because they couldn't do it in Costa Rica. It was completely illegal. But once he got here and figured out he could go hunting, he's done tagged out this year already, and he might shoot a cow horn spike, and he shot a good one this year too, and actually 2 good ones. So, and he killed a good one last year. But he went through what you're talking about, the learning part of it, trying to just see something. It took him, because he went by himself. It took him 6 years, I think, to see a deer. And then the first deer he killed was with a bow, which was incredible to me. And that part of it, he went from like, he didn't know that he sprayed doe estrus and stuff all over him, because he's seen it on TV. He's seen somebody spraying something on TV. Didn't know that was stink killer. He just thought they were spraying stuff all over him. His wife's like, "What in the God's word you got on you?" Whatsoever. So he just,
shit, I'm 28 years old. I still do that.
So people, and he talks about the things we have here that we can do where a lot of countries don't have. So, and a lot of people are taking it for granted where he don't take it for granted. He's loving every minute of it, and he's going through them steps like you're talking about, the learning phase of it, and enjoying every bit of it. So that part, like you say, we've lost part of that. So
Yeah.
the social media has kind of some of the social media, because you people like used to, like I said, you got to wait till they're 3. You got to wait till they're 3, and then now you got to wait till they're 5. Now you got to wait till they're 7, they're 8, whatever. So that's, where we stop at? You're putting too many crazy limits on some of the hunting. So it's just that part. Just like you say, you gotta learn and understand the full picture, the full circle of it to get to that point. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, 1000%. Well, I'll have to grab that guy's name from you after the podcast here. That'd be pretty neat to get his take on some stuff too.
Yeah.
And coming into the learning age of figuring out, like, having to do it all yourself and learn everything. That's pretty neat.
yeah, he finally, he got to meet a couple of people that's real key to help him, but he went through a lot of growing pains. It's incredible, but he enjoyed every bit of it. There were times where he almost quit. He just almost quit because he just wasn't getting nowhere. But he's full, wide open circle now. So,
Yep.
And
So I know that you go to a lot of shows and stuff. Do you have anything on the docket for this spring? Any shows that you're going to go to?
I don't know about spring yet, but there's some June and July stuff that there's some of them mobile hunter expos we're supposed to go to. And then of course we got a World Deer Expo in Birmingham that we'll do. And I'll probably try to do a different one in Georgia maybe, but I would really love to come up north and do something, maybe just
Have you ever
at least go see something. Cause y'all have some, I think, is it New York where they have that,
Pennsylvania, the Great American Outdoor Show?
Great American Show. There's a guy that I've talked to up there a couple of times that's going to have like an outdoor, like a hunting class or whatever. But don't y'all have, is that New York or is that Maine that has a hunt stock or something like that?
Yeah, New York.
Yeah.
That's not far from us.
Yep.
So that's a big event too. It's pretty cool. They have some ground tracking people and stuff. So
Got the one in Vestal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Great American Outdoor Show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is wicked.
That's incredible.
There's people from all over the world that are there.
It'll take, I don't know where they got that building from, but it'll take you 3 days to walk around.
It's 3 days.
it's like a week-long thing, is it not, or something?
Yeah. Yep. I went down last year and shot. They have an indoor 3D shoot, and all those guys there's a lot of semi-pros and pros that go to that, and they're warming up for Foley to go down there and shoot. So you're walking around and there's some big names that you're shooting with. So it was cool. There's a lot of social media influencers, a lot of big names in the industry that are there. And all the big guys from Africa come in, all over Canada. You have your hunting your hunting section, and then your fishing section where you can go and fish across the world. And some of the people you can talk to there, it's great just to not talk to anybody and walk around. There's some of these displays that are like 30 feet tall with the best taxidermy in the world, where there's leopards coming down the walls. And it's that if you can put that on your list of things to do, that is a show you don't want to miss.
That's got to be on anybody's bucket list.
That is what I want to do. We got a turkey one, the National Wild Turkey one, coming up in Nashville, February, like the 14th, 15th. We'll go to that. And a couple of years ago, we went to a SCI one. That's an incredible one to go to. That's a whole different level of folks and stuff. But there was some stuff in there that's very neat. And if you want to do something in the world, there's somebody there that could get you to do it.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, they had somebody selling planes in there. If you wanted your own plane, you could buy a name Learjet or something in there. So, a whole different level of outdoors people, but we got to have them too. So that's a cool event to go to. So
Takes all kinds of kinds.
All kinds of kinds.
Everybody just got to roll. That's it.
We try to make, some of them, we'll have booths set up at a few. But we'll go to some, like the National Wild Turkey one. We'll go to that and just walk around, talk to people. Like you say, you get to see that people, you know, it's got other TV shows or that's historical people with the hunting industry that's been going on, for, you know, been doing stuff for our goal forever. So that makes that fun, and we try to do is what we can of that. But now that Pennsylvania one, I really want to do that, and I'm going to have to look into that more this year and just see when that is and try to make that. So I know several folks that's in that area that I've talked to, like podcasts or stuff, that I would like to, you know, spend a little bit more time with and stuff. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
February.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't remember if it's I think it's the beginning of February.
Really? Is that early?
Yeah.
I if I remember right, I'm pretty sure it's the beginning of February.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at that. I don't know if I can make it that early. I didn't realize it was that early. So, but yeah, I know that the SHOT Show, some people say, because I know some in the Southern Outdoorman, you heard that podcast, big podcast down here?
Yeah, Parker McDonald from Southern Collective, he's the one that gave us your name.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've done several with him. Parker's, you know, he just lives not too far from me. The Southern Outdoorsman, I was talking to some of them, they're fixing to go like the SHOT Show or trade show or something. Then they're going to go to the National Wild Turkey thing because some of them do start early. So, but I'm going to have to check that out. I didn't realize that y'all's was that early. So February. So, but
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it is. I just got the email for it to sign up for my times that I have to go shoot. And I think it's that first week of February.
Wow. Well, I might have to look at it and just see, because if I can talk my wife into driving up there, we might do it. So
it's wicked. I mean, and like I said, to comb through the whole thing, it's several buildings and they're all connected.
That's crazy.
You get an app on your phone of the map of the place.
Wow.
Like it was crazy. Like I follow these guys. They have an outfitter group in Ohio and Kentucky, and I was walking through. Of course, I have my shooting jersey on, my bow in hand, all my stuff. I'm trying to navigate on my stupid phone with thousands and thousands of people trying to get to the shooting area. It was the funniest thing. I'm walking through, and one of these booths, I hear a guy yelling, Hey, Connor, little brother, what are you doing? And I never met these guys. We just follow each other on social media, message back and forth. Right. And sure as shit, they're standing there and they're like, get over here, man. Let's get some pictures with you. And I was like, out of the thousands of vendors, how the heck did I walk by them? And how the heck did they recognize me? It was crazy.
Yeah. That's part of the social media thing and stuff. It's real cool, because we run into people like that all the time nowadays. I've been walking through the middle of a dang concert or something. Somebody come run over. Hey man, I follow you on Facebook and stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I seen you. You know, that part is so incredible, because we're sharing and trying to get, spread stuff, and that part means a lot when we run into people like that. That's just so cool. So.
Absolutely. Well, you let us know if you make it up to the Great American Outdoor Show. That'd be pretty neat. We'll at least be able to talk to you for a minute.
Yeah, and our turkey season starts May 1st. If you got any interest in that, I'd love to take you on a hunt.
Well, I like turkey hunting. I've killed a few turkeys, but I have a hearing issue, and it's so hard. Like where we hunt at turkey hunt, my wife won't go. She can't stand the call stuff, and it's hard for me to figure out where suckers are at. It's like a gobbling all around me, and I can't pinpoint them. So it's just, I'd love to do something like that. That's neat. So, and I appreciate that offer. I'll keep that in mind. So I love doing stuff in different states, like we was talking, just to spread, the camaraderie like this, and then seeing different parts of the country. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. I love it. But we don't want to keep you too much of the night. We'll end it here, I think. We usually do you have any closing or closing words or anything else that you want?
One thing I'd like to say, which I don't know if you want to promote YouTube, like 18 Outdoor, if you want to look into any of that, I've wrote a book and some other things. And one thing about the outdoors that we kind of need to get into more is don't worry so much about what other people are doing, and worry about what you're doing. Make all the, worry about your effort, your time, and your research and stuff, and the knowledge that you're trying to learn to do something. Don't get caught up in some of the outdoor influences, or the outside influence, not outdoor, but outside influences. Just try to make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. So
I love your mindset. We really appreciate you coming on here.
And I appreciate the invite. Really enjoyed it, man. It's been a good time. So
Yeah.
Keep in
thank you for
touch.
chatting very much.
If you want to kill birds or track bucks on snow, we got
I
an
know
open
what you want
spot
us
for
to-
you,
That's
brother.
that snow thing. It really interests me. I'm serious. I might have to holler at one of y'all about that. So.
I will. Yeah, I'll get your contact with these guys, and it's one of the most diverse spots in the northern part of the state. And yeah, I'd love to chat with you on that. That'd be wicked.
That's sweet. We'll do that. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Good seeing y'all.
Yep.
Have a good
Have
night.
a good night.
Good night. Too.